Urgent, the US Army has unexpectedly entered Belarus. A sharp turn of events. Washington and Minsk are up to something. Putin has been left out in the cold. Poland has dared to act. Belarusians detained. Shock! A drone broke through directly to President Nawrocki's residence. The Czech Republic joins the NATO border patrol group. Tensions are rising. Read more about this until the end. Congratulations. This is Ukraine Today. Yaderina Gutskalo. And recent events. Emergency. American military personnel have arrived in Belarus. As reported by Reuters, US soldiers unexpectedly arrived in Belarus to attend the Zapad 2025 exercises.
American military officers observed joint military exercises between Russia and Belarus for the first time since Moscow used Belarus as a launchpad for the invasion of Ukraine, amid the deepening of ties by US President Donald Trump with Moscow's closest ally.
Analysts note that such a gesture is yet another sign that Washington is seeking to improve relations with Belarus. Incidentally, on the eve of this, US President Donald Trump made a generous gesture to the self-proclaimed Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, a personal letter of congratulations on his birthday.
We look forward with hope to the coming year. We pray for your health and well-being, as well as for continued progress toward advancing our shared goals. On behalf of the peoples of the United States and Belarus. Sincerely yours, signed the President of the United States.
A symbolic gift was added to the greeting, a pair of cufflinks featuring an image of the White House. In response to such a gesture, 52 political prisoners from various countries who had been held in Belarus were released. Meanwhile, Belarusians are already in Poland. The authorities carried out a high-profile arrest of 2 individuals at once.
2 Belarusian citizens have been detained. The police are investigating the circumstances of the incident.
And all this happened right after another hostile drone was spotted in the sky over Poland. This time, the unmanned aerial vehicle reached the president's residence in Warsaw.
The State Security Service neutralized a drone that was flying over government buildings on Parkova Street and near the Belvedere Palace.
The media immediately reported that this is one of the most secure places with top-level protection.
Jarosław Kaczynski, BA and Szydło, and of course Donald Tusk, among others, lived in one of the most secure buildings in the country.
Nevertheless, the fact of the incident was also confirmed by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Administration, Karolina Galenka. According to her, the detainees are currently in custody and the investigation is ongoing. Later, the State Protection Service revealed the first details.
Our officers detected the drone and informed the commander. A patrol was dispatched, which caught the drone operators red-handed.
Meanwhile, the Czech Republic has transferred 3 helicopters to Poland to strengthen air defense.
3 specially modified Mi-171 Charlie helicopters from the 22nd Helicopter Airbase in Namiest nad Oslawą have landed on Poland's eastern border. The helicopter unit is intended for conducting special operations.
According to the Defense Ministry, the purpose of this reinforcement is to support NATO's presence in the region and at the same time to strengthen the capabilities of Poland's armed forces. Meanwhile, a new wave of tension erupts. The Kremlin is floundering in confusion and nuclear blackmail comes to the fore. Kaliningrad is turning into a front line, and in response, NATO is going all in. Poland and the Baltic countries are preparing for a complete rearmament. Columns of equipment are already moving into position, and the skies are being guarded by elite Rafale and Eurofighter jets. Don't miss the discussion about the situation and the likelihood of the development of events.
The Russian drone attack on Poland and the Zapad 2025 military exercises in Belarus are a rehearsal for an attack on NATO's eastern flank.
During exercises in Belarus, the Russian Federation is practicing the capture of the Suwałki corridor. Bild.
Resti does not hide his whole tasks. In Kaliningrad, Russia is openly deploying Iskander systems in broad daylight and on busy roads, while the defense ministry of the aggressor country reports daily on successful training combat missile and bomb strikes using aviation and the navy against the territory of the North Atlantic Alliance.
The crews of MiG-31 aircraft equipped with the Kinzhal aviation complex conducted flights over the neutral waters of the Barents Sea as part of the joint strategic exercise Zapad 2025. While carrying out the training combat mission, the crews were assigned to deliver a simulated airstrike on critically important enemy targets.
In response, NATO is strengthening its military capabilities in countries neighboring Russia. According to Polish media reports, the previously announced Eastern Shield mission by Mark Rutte has already begun.
The Polish General Staff has published footage of a French A400 transport plane landing in Minsk Mazowiecki. It delivered weapons for Rafale fighter jets, which, as it turns out, are already in Poland.
As part of the mission, countries of Western and Northern Europe are strengthening the military technical capabilities of those nations most vulnerable to the Russian threat.
These activities will involve, in particular, France, Britain and Germany.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
In other words, this is a demonstration. That is, this is a practical application of Article 5 of the NATO Charter, namely collective security. On the territory of both Poland and the Baltic states, checkpoints are operating with locations at various divisions, involving both the armed forces of these countries and accordingly the NATO member states. First and foremost, this concerns border crossings and the land borders with the aim of preventing possible provocations.
The protection of the eastern skies is also being strengthened. France, Britain and Germany are deploying Rafale and Eurofighter jets, as well as additional air defense systems, to the territories of countries bordering Russia.
Any form of inaction is unequivocally a demonstration of significant weakness, which consequently encourages not just the Russian Federation, but also other actors in the future to brazenly violate the very boundaries of the international security architecture that was previously established there. The Yalta and Potsdam agreements, which the United States is now trying to uphold.
At present, the question is whether the United States will support Europe. After Donald Trump's vague response, European politicians began to doubt Washington's willingness to actually defend NATO's borders.
What is your reaction to the drone incursion into Poland? It could have been a mistake. It might be a mistake. But regardless of that, I am not pleased with anything related to this situation. But I hope this will end.
The Kremlin is watching how Europe and the US respond. Weakness and ignoring the problem will serve as an invitation for Putin to move from rehearsals to an actual attack.
Breaking news. The Kremlin is launching mega production of drones for drone terror. Now, obviously, not only Ukraine, but also Poland. Urgent order. Work at the factories is in full swing. Putin has pressured Russian engineers. What mega development by the enemy is hiding behind the scenes? More on this in just a moment.
In 2025, Russia sent more than 34,000 strike drones and decoys to Ukraine. This number is almost 9 times higher than the same period last year. This is reported by the New York Times.
Russia's war against Ukraine is perhaps the first war in world history where drones play such a critical role. I think that's a fact.
On a single night during the first weekend of September, Russia launched a record number of 810 strike drones and decoys against our country. According to the analysis provided by journalists, this number only continues to grow each month.
Military analysts and security experts are now increasingly stating that the very real prospect of facing coordinated attacks by as many as 1,000 drones all in a single night is quickly becoming a tangible reality. So, you have to literally understand that if there are, roughly speaking, 30 days in a month, then 1,000 drones per night means 30,000 drones per month that Russia has to produce. We see that sometimes, although it hasn't reached 1,000 yet, there have already been nights with 700 drones. So in principle, it's clear that Russia most definitely has the inherent capability. And so it is critically important to understand exactly what components these particular drones are made of, in order to, we could say, have some truly well-founded leverage over those specific countries that are supplying them.
Putin's autocratic government has made it clear that drones are the highest priority for the country, which has mobilized both state and private resources to create a drone manufacturing empire. Thus, by 2026, even school children will be involved in drone production.
Still, I am inclined to think that Russia does not have full internal capability, meaning it cannot produce everything it needs, all the necessary components for drones on its own. So, we need to look for ways in which critical components are getting into Russia.
According to analysts' estimates, Russia is currently capable of producing about 30,000 strike drones similar to the Iranian ones per year. It is believed that by 2026, the aggressor could double this figure.
Well, that's how it will be. But once again, the overall performance of the economy will truly show us what happens in the next year, because it is very important to remember that serious economic problems are one of the key factors that could potentially either stop completely or at the very least significantly reduce drone production inside of Russia.
Experts note that Moscow sends strike drones in swarms or waves and directs them along convoluted trajectories to distract from the real targets. They also send even more decoy targets made of painted foam and plywood, which sometimes contain large warheads and are indistinguishable from real drones in the sky.
We see, based on experience, that the number of drones Russia is using is increasing, and there are indeed different types. So it's not just Shaheds, there are also decoy drones. Why are they used? To make Ukraine spend its anti-drone systems. In cooperation with the West, as we see, these are expensive missiles that can cost millions, which are used to shoot down these decoy drones that might only cost a couple of $1,000s. Yes, it's believed that decoys are necessary so that Ukraine expends its ammunition. And as we've recently realized, it's not just Ukraine, but also its Western partners, Ukraine and the European Union. Still, I cautiously lean toward the idea that things are no longer so perfect in Russia when it comes to the production of combat drones, because accordingly, they're simply producing more and more decoys, and their numbers keep increasing. Because, of course, if Russia had the capability to produce a huge number of combat drones, then what would be the point of making decoys when you could just make purely combat drones, which was their original intention?
Currently, Russian drones avoid open areas where Ukrainian air defense units operate, instead flying over rivers and forests. When drones enter cities, they are harder to shoot down because of tall buildings and the risk to civilians.
How do you assess the appearance of US troops in Belarus and the start of a tough response from Poland? Share your opinion in the comments, hit the like button, and stay updated on the main news. We already have 460,000 subscribers. There's more to come. See you soon.